Good morning, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well today. I have a good amount of words for you guys today. However, there's two that I kind of want to just get out and over with because they're kind of heavy, right? This one particularly is a little bit more heavier than the other one I'm going to post right after this, and they're very short words, okay? This is confirmation to those of you guys that need this confirmation. So early this morning, roughly around like 4 a.m., because I always check the time after I get a vision, the Lord showed me again that bird, that Egyptian bird that's on the airline Egypt Air. And I told you guys that, I saw that bird in an open eye vision and it flashed. And, I felt the urgency of that word. And I posted it the other day pertaining to Egypt Air. Okay. Now, the difference is this time the Lord said Egypt again. So, last time when I got the vision of the bird, the Lord didn't say Egypt at that time, but a time before that he said Egypt. That time he just showed me the bird and it flashed. This time he showed me the bird and he said Egypt, okay? Oh my goodness. Whew. Then he showed me the word Psalm. Okay, we already know the book of Psalm is David, and it talks about judgment upon the enemies. It also talks about when God talks about the Israelites being rebellious. It also talks about David crying out to God, wanting help, wanting God to deliver him from his enemies, deliver his people from his enemies, etc. Right? So the problem is that when I saw the Psalm, I didn't get to fully see the numbers. I'm still waiting on God to give me the number. He will give it to me. But shortly after I saw that, okay, I didn't see. I heard a female crying, and she was crying hysterically. And then I heard the Lord say sickness. And then he said she's hiding the sickness because if she exposes that she's sick, everyone's going to find out that she did witchcraft. Because, Jesus, this is really hard to do. It's not an easy word to deliver. Um, the Lord highlighted to me the story of Pharaoh in Egypt when he held the Israelites hostage, right? And the Lord gave Pharaoh so many warnings and told him to release them. And one of the warnings that the Lord sent was a plague on the land, right? And that still never made Pharaoh, obey and release the Israelites. However, it was when something happened to Pharaoh's son is when he released the Israelites. However, he went back to go get them again, which led to his downfall of him and his army, right? So the Lord highlighted that specifically to me because that was one of the warnings that gave to this particular person, basically to stop doing the witchcraft. Basically told this person, if you don't stop doing the witchcraft, everything that you're trying to implement onto my son and my daughter, it's going to end up affecting you. Okay, this person did not listen, and now this person is battling a sickness. However, because this person knows and they're aware that people suspect that they are doing witchcraft, people suspect that they are involved, they are hiding the sickness because they don't want anyone to know that they're going through the sickness, because that's going to reveal to people that they were indeed involved in witchcraft. Okay, so they're trying to hide it, but they were crying because of the sickness. Okay, so that's just a word of confirmation. I want to just say that pertaining to the Egyptian bird, Egypt Air symbol, I am not aware if that is connected to this. I'm not sure, but it could be still pertaining to like a flight, but it can also be still pertaining to just Egypt in general, just the overall, analogy to confirm the involvement of Pharaoh and his wickedness, etc. So I just want to put this confirmation out. The next video is similar to this, but it's a different type of wrath that they're going through. This person's going through sickness, the other person's going to go through a different type of wrath. So I'm going to put this next video out for whoever needs it. Okay, I love you guys so much. You know what, let's it's important to pray for our enemies, and it's important to pray that when they receive warnings, that they listen, that they obey. Of course we can't pray against God's wrath, but what we can pray is that people learn from you know, their experiences, they learn from their wrongs, and they repent, right? That's what we could pray, because we don't want anyone to have to go through any type of sickness and stuff like that, right? But unfortunately, some people, they don't believe that God really takes touching his anointed very seriously. Some people, it's almost like they wait until something happens to them to stop, and that's sad. That it shouldn't have to be that way, right? But anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.